This is Kickoff Live on Talksport, bringing you uninterrupted commentary of West Ham against Alkmaar in the Europa Conference League semi-final. The Hammers' quest for a first major trophy in 43 years continues. As they find their form late in the season, things could be coming together at just the right time for David Moyes and his team to do something very special and put to rest the pain of their Europa League exit at the same stage last season. A great start, a winning start in this tie in front of their own fans would be the perfect tonic. I've got to tell you, the atmosphere building brilliantly, flames flying into the air, bubbles blowing, and as you can hear, fireworks shot into the sky here in East London in the shape of those famous irons. They are up for it, they are ready, as you'd expect, for a European semi-final. West Ham reached this stage of the tournament coming through the playoff round back in August. They topped their group with 6 wins from 6, and they came past Larnaca and Ghent with relative ease to make it to the final 4. Hasn't been all plain sailing for RZ. They started in the second playoff round back in July. That means they've gone through 3 double-legged ties just to make the group stage. They topped their group with 5 wins from 6, coming past Lazio and Anderlecht on penalties in the previous round. They need to be taken seriously. So what do we expect from them tonight? Jim Proudfoot.
They're a side that the better the quality of opposition they play, the better they play. They can raise their game. And it's a statistic that's been doing the rounds that over the last 4 seasons, you had a mini-league in the Netherlands of AZ, Feyenoord, Ajax and PSV. AZ will be out on top in those games. They're not going to be fazed by this. As I mentioned earlier, they've got the opportunity to play with a stronger 11 next week, and that may well have a bearing in the way that they approach this tonight. If they can leave here with a first leg draw, or with potentially even only a 1-goal deficit, they'll fancy their chances. I think this is a much closer tie than many have it.
Amazing atmosphere inside the London Stadium, as you can hear the fireworks going off, the Billy Bond stand from the side of the pitch all the way to the top of the tiers at the back of the stand, the word Irons in huge letters, and what a sound that is. Spirit, togetherness, so much has lacked from West Ham. Alvin Martin, West Ham legend, over the years when things haven't been going well in this stadium, but European football in particular over the last few years has, I think, helped bring this cohesion in this stadium, and that was fantastic to witness.
Well, the atmosphere is great. Look, there's been the question marks about this stadium, but they've gone now, as far as I'm concerned. The stadium produces a wonderful atmosphere at the start. The secret is keeping that atmosphere at its very best, at its height, and you do that by playing well on the pitch. Players know that. It's a lovely place to come and play now. I think the focus is completely on this, after I think all but securing their Premier League status. So from that point of view, they're in a great position to end the season well. But look, this team, I'm sure West Ham have the better team, but if they do not play to their absolute maximum tonight, as Jim just said, Alkmaar are more than capable of turning the table. So it's a very, very strong side.
Do you see it as a must-win home leg very quickly?
Well, I think it's very important because they've got such a strong home record. And as Jim said, they rise to the occasion. They can beat anyone on their day. So I think it is really important that West Ham certainly leave here with at least 1 goal advantage.
Okay, huge week of live football continues tonight on the Talksport network. Remember, Saturday we'll be with you in the Premier League. Leeds against Newcastle, Aston Villa against Tottenham. Our live games on Game Day exclusive, and much more, including the Women's FA Cup final, Chelsea against Manchester United on Sunday afternoon. But something special is clearly happening at West Ham United. Magical moments shared inside the London Stadium tonight. Hope, belief, togetherness, it all comes to the fore as they try to take a big step towards a first European final for 47 years. The wait has been far too long. The long wait for a trophy hopefully will come to an end this season. West Ham United against AZ Alkmaar, live on Talksport with the former West Ham United and England defender Alvin Martin and our very own Jim Proudfoot.
Thank you, Hugh. A very good evening to you. And there's a whole generation of West Ham fans that would have thought that nights like these would never come again. Yet here they are, European semi-finalists for the second successive season with more than a sense of unfinished business. Not since 1976 that the Hammers reached the continental final. A victorious semi coming on a famous night just before the hot summer, when Trevor Brooking and Keith Robson scored 3 between them to overturn a first leg deficit. The final ended in heartbreak in Brussels. The wait for European silverware is into a 48th year, but potentially down to its last 4 weeks. The experience of Eintracht Frankfurt can only make them stronger as they embark on this latest last 4 tie against Dutch side AZ. Unfashionable but underrated. Come here on the back of holding Ajax at the weekend and with a very impressive defensive record. The timing of the Hammers win over Manchester United on Sunday was crucial. No danger of David Moyes getting caught between 2 stools tonight, now that the threat of relegation is no longer hanging over them. And they line up with Areola in goal, Kerr, Zuma again and Cresswell, Souček, Rice and Paquetá, Bowen, Antonio and Ben Rama.
Well, this West Ham side maybe a few weeks ago weren't playing with this degree of confidence that you'd want, but not now. I think Bowen, Antonio, Ben Rama, Paquetá, Declan Rice all the way through this season. And that is going to be vital. The stage is set, the atmosphere is perfect, the crowd are totally with their team. Now it's up to the team, the West Ham team, to keep them with them.
For AZ, it's Ryan in goal, Sugawara, Burkema, Hatzadiakis and De Witt. Reinders and Classy, Odgaard, Mainons and Van Brederode, with 22-goal Pavlidis up front. A night of nights, a European semi-final, just the 5th in Hammers history. The 4th came a year ago, tinged with disappointment and frustration. But can they now go one better? This, no time for the dreams to fade and die. Turkish referee Halil Umutnela gets us underway. AZ in their change kit of all blue, kick from right to left. Hammers in their traditional claret and blue, kick from left to right as we look at it. Michail Antonio trying to get on the end of the first ball played forward. Sliding challenge comes in from Sugawara to knock it away. There's a big flag up on the far side near halfway that simply says, plaintively in 3 words, Deck, please stay. I think that is the sentiment that is shared by all and sundry in claret and blue here tonight. Such an intense atmosphere, you can hardly hear yourself think as Ben Rama crosses inside the penalty area and Burkema sweeps it away out of play for a throw.
And I think over these last few weeks, you know, the guy in midfield who's starting to really look the part is Paquetá. You know, and he was brought in to add that little bit of class in the final third, and all of a sudden now it seems like he's on the same team, the same wavelength really, Jim, as some of the players around him, which hasn't been the case all season.
It certainly feels as though he's benefited from playing in recent weeks as an 8 rather than as a 10, and with his new shape to the West Ham United midfield, with Rice sitting and Souček and Paquetá either side of him. Ball is with the AZ goalkeeper Matt Ryan, the Australian international. Made 5 appearances against West Ham when he was playing in English football, and he never lost. Ball is cleared on the left-hand side. Kurt Zuma coming to meet it. And how crucial from the Hammers' perspective that he's back involved again this evening. Headed forward, out of play by Thilo Kehrer for a throw that will be taken on the AZ left-hand side. Couple of minutes in, West Ham United 0, AZ 0. Live on Talksport, Jim Proudfoot and the former West Ham United captain Alvin Martin talking you through the action. Here's Jordi Classic. It's a very good season, the heart of the midfield for AZ. Ball from him to Mainons. Now De Witt, who's replacing the highly rated, suspended Milos Kerkez at left back. And that is a relative weakness. The other perceived weakness in this AZ side is a man in possession now, Burkema, at centre half. He plays it forward for Classy. Classy looking long for the run of Pavlidis, and again can let the ball run out of play. for a throw that will be taken on the West Ham United left, in their left-back position, led with the edge of their own penalty area. 2.5 gone, 0-0.
It's always difficult in the early stages of a game to know how hard to push, how many questions to ask, because you know that when you get to this stage of a competition, the quality that you're playing against are more than capable of, if you turn the ball over, hurting you. So it's getting that balance right between keeping this atmosphere like it is, trying to take the game to the opposition without looking vulnerable.
West Ham have such a good home record in Europe, 100% on home turf in Europe this season, played 6-1-6, and they've scored more than 4 times as many goals as they've conceded. AZ, on the other hand, have been beaten 3 times on their European travels this season, including one game at Tannadice against Dundee United. Well, they won the second leg of that one 7-0. Ball played back by the Hammers to Agad on the edge of the penalty area. 3.5 minutes have gone of largely shadow boxing in the midfield. Here's Areola taking a touch and then just chipping it down towards Thilo Kehrer, playing it right back in the continued absence of Safal again in the West Ham United side today. And he's played it back for Agad, who will bring it forward to within 10 yards of the edge of the centre circle. His ball forward wasn't the best. Classy intercepted it. Declan Rice then couldn't win the seconds, and AZ will be able to bring it forward down the right hand side with Odgaard. Odgaard, the switch of play down to Van Brederode, left winger on the bottom left hand corner of the penalty area. It's a teasing ball in. Odgaard didn't gamble on it at the far post, and it sailed over his head and goes out of play for a goal kick.
And it certainly looks like a player that we're going to have to keep an eye on tonight, on that left hand side for Alkmaar. You know, and they certainly get people forward. Both fullbacks, when their wide players get it, are more than happy to take the overlap run. On that side for West Ham, I always feel pretty confident that Jared Bowen is always going to do his fair share.
Areola has it again, and it's play forward towards Agad. Again allowed to venture out of the penalty area before launching it long. Bowen the furthest forward this time of the West Ham players, and he's gone to ground. Challenge from Hansidiakos, but no foul by the Greek international centre half. And play allowed to continue as the ball goes through to Matt Ryan, who only signed from Copenhagen in January. So this is not his first stopping point since leaving English football. Comes here in good form. He's kept clean sheets in each of his last 4 games. In fact, they've just a few minutes short of 7 hours since they last conceded a goal, AZ. The last one coming in the away leg against Anderlecht. Possession turnovers they try and play out from the back. West Ham bringing it forward, lay off by Paquetá. Rice on the edge of the penalty area. He tries to pirouette. Cresswell will pick it up. Back out towards Benrahma. Benrahma does well. Gets around the fullback. Can he deliver? Chops it back onto his right foot. Fired inside the area. Deep for Souček. It didn't quite get to him. Bowen coming to meet it. Got there first, but heads it over the bar. Good start from the Hammers. 6 gone, 0-0.
Yeah, I think if it had known there was a player in behind there, it was a great ball in by Declan Rice. Benrahma's started off the game very well, hasn't he, on that left-hand side. Looks sharp, looks direct, really good running. Anywhere around the edge of the box, you always feel that something's going to happen when he gets it.
All ifs, buts and maybes, of course, but I think that there's a case maybe for Fornals playing in the second leg next week, with the way that he fulfills that role on the left-hand side of the front three, more defensive-minded. It all depends, of course, on the way that the tie is set up this time next week. That second leg will be live for you over on Talksport 2. I'll remind you of that on a few occasions over the course of the evening, but worth bearing in mind that the second leg of this one is over on Talksport 2 this time next week. It's 0-0 at the moment in this first leg, with DeWitt forward through the midfield. Reinders did well to make sure that he didn't get caught in possession. Burkema working it back into his path now. Classy will be able to take it on. Pavlidis dropping deeper. Mainans. Pavlidis continuing his run forward towards the edge of the penalty area. West Ham knock it away. Again doing well to cover the ground. And the ball runs out of play for a throw, which will be taken on the left touchline by AZ, who, if you're of a certain age, you'll remember, reached the UEFA Cup final back in 1981, lost it to Ipswich 3-0 away, and to goals from Wart, Tyson and Mariner. Johnny Method amongst their goal scorers. The future Nottingham Forest man in the second leg, which they won 4-2, but that wasn't enough. It's the only European final they've ever reached. This is their third major European semi-final, having beaten Sochaux in that one, and then lost to Sporting much more recently back in 2005 when they conceded in the last minute of extra time and went out on away goals. So, like the Hammers, their experience of a last European semi-final isn't great. West Ham setting their stall out well in the opening stages tonight. In possession at the back with the dark-haired Japanese international defender Sugawara. Nice turn from him in possession. It's a player that can get forward very ably. Pavlidis dropping deep, picking up possession, driving at the Hammers defence, but he didn't get too far. And West Ham will bring it away and find Mick Antonio out on the left, and he will now barrel forward towards the edge of the penalty area, and as he played it in, just too far ahead of Bowen's run, and he goes out of play for a goal kick.
Well, inches away, did the right thing. He prodded it into the danger area. He just couldn't get his feet adjusted. Jared Bowen did get a contact on the ball, but not a strong enough contact. You know, Antonio, he's looking much more better, you know, himself now, like he was last year. It's been a really difficult season for him, but he's I think somebody that is so important, because when he gets the ball, you can see the whole ground lift when he started driving.
It's a goal kick which centre half will take. Diakos back to Ryan as they play out from the back. That point that you're making about Antonio, I think, is a very important one, because he's not a player that can just be judged on goals alone. He scored 13 this season in 44 games. That's not an outstanding return by any stretch of the imagination, although he's got 4 in 4 European ties here this season and another couple of goals away from home in Europe. So that's where he's has really been able to make hay. I think there's a feeling that he might against this particular centre-half partnership over the 2 legs as well. But Mainans can bring it forward and find Reinders, and Classy of AZ will play it out towards the right-hand touchline. Here's Jordi Classy again, the former Southampton man who's the skipper of this AZ team. Diakos taking a touch, bringing it 12, 15 yards inside the West Ham half before turning it back. Now DeWitt, the youngster, playing at left back in the absence of the suspended Kirkes. It's only his 4th start of the season in all competitions, so comfortably the biggest game of his career today, and that might be something that Bowen will be able to exploit as time goes on. But so far, with 10 minutes of the first leg behind us, AZ more than happy to try and take the tempo out of the game and keep possession at the back. Sugawara receiving a pass in defeat in the midfield from Classy, now out towards Odgaard, and the Danish winger brings it forward. Work through the midfield down towards DeWitt. DeWitt out to the left-hand touchline for Van Brederode, only 19 years of age. Back for the full-back again. Classy will be able to pick it up. Hammers with everybody apart from Antonio behind the ball, just keeping a tight, regimented shape. More than happy for AZ to have possession in this kind of area. Well,
certainly just coming up to 11 minutes gone, and that first 11 minutes has showed us what we're seeing in Alkmaar is a very good technical side. They move the ball really well.
Van Brederode has got it now on the corner of the penalty area, setting up DeWitt, who wanted it on his left foot rather than his right to get a shot, and it does come back for Classy, but Southampton fans won't be surprised to hear that he didn't hit the target. He's drilled it well wide, and it goes out for a goal kick that'll be taken by Alphonse Areola. 11 gone, 0-0.
What they have done really well on 2 or 3 occasions now is, Alkmaar I'm talking about now, is that, you know, the back 4 of West Ham, when it's on the edge of its own box, and then that midfield 3, Rice, Souček and Paquetá, they're able to get their players in between those 2 banks, the bank of 4 and the bank of 3. It's really hard to do that, but they do it. They get themselves turned, and all of a sudden they're in a position where they can hurt you, and it's unnerving as well for the team that you're doing it against.
Areola plays it out towards Kurt Zouma. Capacity crowd here tonight, and a lot of travelling supporters over from the northern Netherlands as well for this game, as you would imagine, as Antonio tries to bring the ball into his stride from Benrahma's pass. Benrahma gets the second bite of the cherry, and Ryan does well, dive down to his left-hand side and chivvy around the post for the first corner of the night.
Good save, excellent save, low down to his left. That's heading in that, he had to make that, he had to get a touch, and his left hand just done the job for Alkmaar. It's a great save on the replay, great save.
Hit it right-footed, arrowing towards the corner. He just got his fingertips to it. It's an outstanding stop to keep it at 0-0. So the Hammers with the first corner. Antonio standing right in front of the goalkeeper. Bowen fires it in, down the throat of the keeper who punched it away under duress. And then Paquetá heads the loose ball wide.
Yeah, he could have done better with that, really. It was a free header. He could have even brought it down, Paquetá, but he tried to put it back in the danger zone, and he's missed the target. But no, look, they are a threat on the break, aren't they, West Ham? But certainly this team it knows how to defend. I think they come into the game with 4 clean sheets behind them, and you can see they're going to be a tough nut to crack.
Yeah, in the quarterfinals they were beaten 2-0 in Brussels by Anderlecht. Those are the last goals they conceded. Since then they went to Fortuna Sittard in the league and won comfortably, as you'd expect. Second leg against Anderlecht they won 2-0 and went through in a penalty shootout. And then they drew 0-0 at Ajax at the weekend in a game in which they had plenty of chances to win. Not far behind Ajax in the Eredivisie, which, when you consider the relative budgets of the two teams, is some achievement. I would say that West Ham's budget probably is getting on for 8 or 9 times that of Pascal Janssen at RZ. They've had a tidy start, but West Ham have certainly had the better moments through 14 goalless minutes here on Talksport. Classy chips it down towards Van Brederode. And his bright yellow boots coming in off the left-hand touchline, and what has been his breakthrough season is really impressed. Now De Wit forward for Reinders. Reinders to Pavlidis. Played forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Cresswell stepping up from the defensive line, knocks it away. And then Antonio will try and spin his man and might be able to flick it past. He's found Benrahma towards the edge of the area. Foul on him. Referee plays the advantage, and Paquetá should have been able to roll it back into Antonio inside the penalty area, but he overhit the pass. Absolutely no need to. Any care on the delivery there. And Antonio was clean through.
Do you know, Jim, they've had really dangerous moments here, West Ham, but it's all on when they've turned the ball over. Alkmaar, on the break it is. And that was like 3 or 4 ricochets, tackles that seemed to bounce in favour of West Ham. And you're absolutely right. Once the ball lands at the feet and the left foot of Paquetá, all he's got to do, it's an easy pass, but he's got to have the right weight on it. And he overhit it at the vital time.
Well, the first yellow card of the night is shown to De Wit, who was the defender that got involved with Benrahma. It's a good advantage play by the Turkish referees. Officiated the opening 15 minutes very well. De Wit goes in the book. The biggest game of his young career has just become that little bit harder. 15 minutes gone. It's 0-0. You're listening to the Conference League live on Talksport with Till, the card payment provider from NatWest. They're determined to play out from the back. It is part of the style, orchestrated by their London-born coach, Pascal Janssen, who was is the son of 2 singers from the 1960s. A Dutch father, had an English mother, lived in London. They were born here. Producer Salah Ahmad is looking at me pleadingly. The answer to your next question is I don't know. Nobody famous, I don't think, but somebody Janssen, I'm guessing. Here's Ryan inside his penalty area. And he drives it forward towards halfway, where Thilo Kehrer has outmuscled Van Brederode, but the referee has given a free kick against him. I think that was one of the concerns from the Hammers, the way that Antonio leads the line, such a physical, combative specimen leading that line. There'll be worries that with a referee who's not used to that style of play necessarily, that he might have a succession of free kicks go against him tonight. Hasn't really been in the position to have to face too many moments like that this evening.
No, that's right. I think I've been encouraged by the referee's performance so far in this game. 16 minutes gone. He's going to let it go. I think the players know where they stand now. He's not going to stop-start for any minor, foul of any sort. So, once the players know that, they respond and they play.
Here's Jordi Klaassen. Forward through the midfield, deflected away, but only to Reinders. Reinders to Van Brederode on the edge of the area, onto his right foot, and Areola can make a comfortable save. Well, the answer to your question, The question that I know you're so interested you weren't even going to ask in the first place is Spooky and Sue, the well-known English pop duo of the 1970s, who actually bid to represent the Netherlands in the Eurovision Song Contest in 1976. It's amazing the stuff that our production team know, just at the flick of a finger. Good old Wikipedia. 17 gone, 0-0. West Ham 0, AZ 0 in the Conference League semi-final first leg. Odgaard coming in off the right flank for the Dutch visitors in all blue. The side have got the second best away record in the Eredivisie, beaten only 4 times away from home this season in 16 games, and they've scored twice as many as they've conceded. Well, the Hammers laying a strong foothold in this game, and they win another free kick. Ben Rama's been a marked man in the early stages. He's fouled again there.
Yeah, I think he's had a lot of the ball on that left-hand side. I'd just like to see Jared Bowen get more into the game on this right-hand side from West Ham's point of view. You know, he's somebody that is in a rich vein of form, but he hasn't really seen anywhere near as much of the ball.
Areola playing out from the back, finds Knife again. Again controlling it, slowing it down to walking pace. Pavlidis trying to stop a pass forward towards Declan Rice. He's found himself caught in the middle for a moment. The pass went the other way instead towards Zuma. Back again for Areola. And now Agard will be able to bring it out from the back. And Zuma's presence tonight absolutely crucial in terms of Premier League games. Their record with Zuma in the side and when he's not in the side in such stark contrast to each other. Matches in which he started and not gone off injured inside the opening 20 minutes. West Ham have picked up 27 points from 21 games. In the others, they've taken only 11 points from 15 games. So Zuma being back tonight is a massive boon as far as the Hammers are concerned. And he comes to meet that ball played out there and gets the better of Pavlidis. West Ham have won lots of second ball inside the opening 20 minutes or so. You would talk sport, it's 0-0. And here's Thilo Kehrer for the Hammers. Forward towards Jared Bowen. Souček supplying the width on the West Ham right this time. Back it goes from him to Kehrer, who's played in a Champions League final in the past. Now Rice bringing it forward. Controlled by Paquetá. With his second touch, he turns it back to Agard. And then flicked out towards Ben Rama. Cresswell taking an advanced position down the West Ham United left, but so much of it is staying in that central tranche of the field at the moment. Natley goes wide for Kehrer, but he can't find a way past Van Brederode. He gives it away. Bowen able to pick it up. Just takes a tumble inside the penalty area. The referee is unmoved, and Odgaard will hammer it away for AZ.
Yeah, there was contact there, no doubt about it, but I think he was already on his way down. I think that's the way the referee saw it, but that's where you want to get him. You want to get him into tight little areas inside the penalty box, because he'll take a risk in there because the rewards are high.
Antonio plays it back for Declan Rice again. Rice on the edge of the centre circle. Third Zuma coming forward. Zuma into the path of Bowen. Bowen turning it back for Thomas Souček. Long ball angled out towards the far touchline is headed away by Sugawara. West Ham will bring it forward once more with Paquetá. The Brazilian with 40 caps to his name. Antonio down towards that left flank. Cross is low, driven in, hits the fullback Sugawara. Ben Rama 30 yards out, and that one goes wide of the far post as we look at it. Matt Ryan's right. It's 0-0. Just a minute before the midway stage of this first half on Talksport. Alvin Martin.
I've got to say it's a very good watch as well. Very intriguing game this. You know, a very talented Alkmaar side, technically proficient. You know exactly what they're trying to do. They look at a threat down both flanks. Really comfortable in possession in a hostile atmosphere. But West Ham have certainly got, you know, a directness and a quickness to the counter that it looks really dangerous. They just need a goal, don't they? Because the crowd are absolutely with them 100%.
Jordi Clasie down towards Van Brederode. The roof will come off the place if West Ham score first. They lost both legs of that semi-final against Eintracht Frankfurt last season. Sugawara back in field for Odgaard. Odgaard to Clasie. Clasie in a central position, 15 yards outside the box. Down to Van Brederode again, faced up by Thilo Kehrer. He's worked it back inside. Clasie able to bring it forward. Then takes a touch and works it to his right for Reinders. Odgaard Zuma back in the right place, finds his goalkeeper, and Ariota just had to make sure that he got his foot underneath that pretty quickly. Let's get it over the on-rushing Pavlidis. Then as it's played forward, Antonio going up for it. For what was a fight ball, felt that the defender made it back for him, ended up on the deck, and the referee said get on with it.
Yeah, I think whenever Antonio goes to ground, it's got to be a fearsome tackle, because he's such a strong, centre forward. The referee's only got to look at him and say, well, if you go down easy, it's got to be suspicious.
The winners of this play Fiorentina or Basel. And the first leg of their semi-final is already underway. Currently 0-0, the final in Prague on June the 7th. We will be there on Talksport if the Hammers are there. Thilo Kehrer in possession on the West Ham United right. Play down the line towards Bowen. Controls it, brings it back inside his own half. Van Brederode following him every step of the way. Started well. Now the youngster, bearing in mind most people think that he's going to lose his place against McCarlson for the second leg. Rice forward towards Paquetá, just finding a little pocket of space and then finding Benrahma. Souček's got it now. Souček clipping it out towards the West Ham United left. Fans get to their feet with Cresswell in possession, but the referee saw a handball. And before he was able to deliver across, the whistle's gone. And it's a free kick which will be taken right-hand side of the penalty area by AZ. 24 gone, it's 0-0.
It's a crucial moment now. The ball just skipped off. I don't know if it did his hand there, Cresswell, but certainly he's starting to get forward more now on that left-hand side, which is a good sign for West Ham.
Well, we've got a choice of live sport for you tonight. Live Super League action over on Talksport 2. Underway there, just midway through the first half at Wakefield, and Hull FC lead them by 6 points to none in these early stages. That is live for you right now over on Talksport 2. Tomorrow night, we've got League One playoff action for you. The playoffs starting in earnest. We've got all 15 playoff ties on the Talksport network starting tomorrow night over on Talksport 2. Sheffield Wednesday visiting Peterborough. Wednesday, who finished 19 points clear of the Posh in the League One season, hoping to make that count tomorrow. And we get underway at 8 o'clock tomorrow night over on Talksport 2. Dan Windle's hosting, starting at 7. Here and now, 25 minutes in, it's goalless, and Pavlidis plays the ball down to the left flank for Van Brederode. Big number 10 comes to meet it, and that's Mainans. Mainans then back through the midfield for De Witt, and they're inside West Ham United territory. AZ stringing the passes together, and that won't faze the Hammers. More than happy to, even at home, try and exploit sides on the counter-attack and commit bodies forward. Just trying to soak up possession there. More than happy for AZ to have the ball up to this point, about 10 yards outside the area. Now they thread it forward. Pavlidis almost got there. It does break for Van Brederode, and the shot from Mainans goes over the bar. 0-0, 25 gone.
Well, there's no doubt about it. There's a respect from West Ham, and David Moyes said a lot of nice things about Alkmaar before the game. And sometimes managers build a team up because they don't want the fans to come in, get a bit over complacent. But I think he believed every word that he was saying. It's a really good outfit West Ham are facing here, and you can see the way they've set up. They all respected him, and that balance that I spoke about right at the start of the game. How far to push, how much to attack, but also respect that if you turn the ball over, this team can hurt you.
Now those are thoughts of West Ham legend Alvin Martin here at the London Stadium tonight. 0-0 the score. Fiorentina lead Basel 1-0 in the other semi-final. That expected. Arthur Cabral is the man that has got that goal in the Europa League playoff semi-final. 0-0 Roma against Bayer Leverkusen, but Sevilla lead away to Juventus by a goal to nil. Youssef En-Nesyri is the man that has broken the deadlock there, their leading scorer. Juve 0, Sevilla 1. Matt Ryan's made one outstanding save from Benrahma. Almost caught inside his own penalty area in possession again. De Witt able to bail him out, and then he works it down for Mainans. And AZ are able to bring the ball forward. Just slow it down to walking pace right in front of David Moyes. Back it goes to De Witt. And now Reinders will pick it up from his centre halves. Exchange passes with Classy. and Reinders works it to his right-hand side again. And certainly in the last 10-15 minutes, Al, possession for RZ has probably been in the mid-60s, something like that.
Yep. That press was orchestrated there by Declan Rice, and he went, and they all pressed in. They got out there, Alkmaar, but they were a little bit concerned.
Paquetá, again, just hasn't quite got the passing radar right. Look for Antonio. He had one great opportunity to play him in about 10 minutes ago. That time he had defenders all around him and couldn't find him either. The possession over the game as a whole at the moment, 38% to West Ham and 62 to RZ. Classic. 15 yards inside the West Ham half when he plays it down to Van Brederode. He'll work it back towards the Wit. The Wit to his right-hand side. Reinders wearing 6. And then Odgaard, the winger, playing it down to the left, and Van Brederode just lost the geography of the situation for a moment. His feet over the touchline when he controlled the ball. And as a consequence, it's a throw that Thilo Kehrer will take for West Ham. 28 gone. Is David Moyes going to be concerned by any facet of RZ's play?
Well, I think he'll have been impressed, certainly, not just tonight, but I think on what he's seen from them. And look, in the semi-final, Jim, because they're a good team. You know, and they've been able to overcome teams in front of them. I think it's, you know, their home form has been spectacular in Europe, so it's a team full of confidence. And they've come here, they haven't been daunted by the atmosphere. I think they've looked inspired by it.
Yeah, they played 3 qualifying rounds, including, as I mentioned earlier, against Dundee United, whom they led 6-0 after 46 minutes of the second leg. They won their group. They beat Lazio home and away in the next round, Anderlecht in the quarters on penalties. They have scored in every away game that they played in the league this season until the weekend when they were held 0-0 at Ajax. Here's Antonio, almost able to get through. And just Hatzidiakos strong enough to be able to get his left shoulder to Antonio, shove him off balance and make the clearance. It was a close run thing. They love to play out, but I think that there's a danger that they're not quite good enough at it on occasion, RZ.
And I think if you do press them, you've got to be very good at that. And I think I'd like just to see West Ham pushing it a little bit more, taking a little bit of risk. If they get out, they get out, but like all go. Put them under pressure. Let's see if they can deal with it when they're really under pressure.
Thilo Kehrer to take a throw then for West Ham. Launches inside the penalty area, looking for a near post flick, which wasn't forthcoming. Just went over the head of Souček, who often is the man that will make that near post run, trying to help it on. And that was where the damage was done against Crystal Palace in that Premier League game recently. Again, coming forward from the back, and he's ridden a couple of challenges, and he's picked one left-footed from 25 yards, and it screws off the outside of his left boot and drifts innocuously down past the corner flag into the hoardings. But again, making his way forward. We're half an hour in. RZ will be happy with the foundation that they've laid. West Ham have had the better chances. 0-0 the score.
Yeah, again, really, you know, he's got to pass that ball. In a rush of blood and went for a dramatic shot. He's never going to really be able to trouble the keeper with. But look, the atmosphere is still very good here. It's still very much for West Ham, because although they haven't had as much possession, I think they've had a goal threat about them.
Yeah, certainly expected goals in the Hammers' favour at the moment. 0.3 to 0.1, as much as you can read anything into these things. Boos and whistles there, incidentally, were for the referee being very officious, making sure that Souček didn't steal even 6 inches in his starting position on the edge of the penalty area. So he prepared to press the goal kick that RZ were going to take out from the back. They played round that press after a fashion, though Klassi's touch was poor. Kehrer is able to win it back and find Paquetá. Meinenstid well in the midfield. And then sliding in, Benrahma wins it back, and he's back on his feet in the blink of an eye to dispossess Odgaard. Plays it forward. Antonio trying to take it on the turn, couldn't do so, ends up on the deck. Play goes on, he stayed down, no foul on him. West Ham continuing in possession with Said Benrahma. The big Hammers number 9's back on his feet now, limping towards the edge of the penalty area, but able to take full part in proceedings again. Out he goes towards Benrahma, level with the edge of the box. Turn back to Declan Rice. Now an RZ player goes down holding his face. Referee not buying that. And play will go on. Tilo Kehra's got it. Kehra on this near touchline, the West Ham United right, down towards Bowen. Odegaard on that far side is still down injured, and now the referee will stop play to go and have a look, and Paquetá is absolutely furious, and he's saying, well, it's not a head injury. And oh look, he's back on his feet, Odegaard.
You see, Paquetá's got a point there, Jim. The West Ham fans have got a point. They know what's going on there. And the referee, I think, has started the game off very well. If people go into ground easy, he's letting the game go. I don't know why he stopped that there. That should be up to the opposition.
Well, we're seeing a replay of it. Declan Rice's arms were out. There was any contact. It was actually initiated by Odegaard. He hasn't dived into his elbow. I'm not suggesting that, but I think he's sort of leant forward within his running stride. Contact, if there was any, was extremely minimal. But he's okay. He's back on his feet, and we can resume. But the Hammers fans frustrated because that resumption of play sees AZ with their shake back behind the ball, and the ball 40 yards deeper than it was when the referee stopped proceedings.
Well, he brushed his nose, the Alkmaar player. You know, and look, the only way the game should be stopped is if there's some blood there.
Antonio playing it back for Rice. Crossfield ball will pick out Jarrod Bowen. Lovely control, just walking back and let the ball hit his left foot. He cushioned it in an instant. Now he has it again. Played forward by Bowen down towards Souček near the corner flag. He checks, turns inside away from Classy, but Van Brederode is back doubling up, and then Classy intelligently finds the width, and they can play their way out pretty comfortably again with Reinders, although he very nearly showed too much of that to Antonio with a ball across the edge of the penalty area. But they have been able to play out until West Ham win it back. Rice involved in that. Benrahma as well. Benrahma tried to pirouette away from his man Sibuala, and the referee says no foul. And AZ will be able to bring it away until Rice dives in to win possession back quite brilliantly. There's a real feistiness about it now. After that incident involving Odegaard, it's put a real edge to the game. Ball towards the dead ball line, he's played back inside the penalty area. Sugawara will clear, and it goes out of play for a throw to West Ham on the left. They've got another player down injured now, De Witt inside his own penalty area. West Ham taking the throw quickly, and they then win a free kick over by the left-hand touchline, level with the edge of the box.
Well, I think at times, you know, the critics that don't like the stadium have said that the atmosphere doesn't really do it justice. Well, I'll tell you what, listen to that. Listen to that. We're seeing a really good game of football here. I think West Ham have just turned the heat up a little bit as well, Jim. The last sort of 5 minutes, they've started to ask a lot more questions, just put a little bit more aggression into their play, and I think it's rattled Alkmaar a little.
Well, De Witt's okay, he's back on his feet without the need for treatment, so he is going to be able to take part in the defensive cordon for this free kick. Classy is a one-man wall. The free kick's going to be swung in from the left touchline. The Hammers have actually brought the ball in from the left-hand touchline a little bit, and that's the point that the Turkish referee is making. He's put the spray down. He's overcompensated. He's put the spray down right on the touchline. It's almost like the wrong side of the touchline where he's telling him to take it from. But Cresswell is over there. Bowen stands hands on hips on the edge of the penalty area. There's no AZ player immediately by him. De Witt's keeping an eye on him, but Bowen might be able to get a run on him here. Souček at the far post might be the target. It's flicked on into the centre of the penalty area. Appeals for handball. I think we're very optimistic, and it's clear by AZ out of play for a throw. David Moyes acting as the ball boy, throwing the ball to Kehra so he can take a throw quickly, because West Ham feel that they're in a position that they can start turning the screw here. The referee just said to Kehra, don't take the throw yet. There must have been a VAR check for that handball, but Paolo Valeri, the VAR, the Italian official, has said nothing doing. Just said get on with it.
As well, you know, you said about David Moyes feeling the ball, getting it back in play. He knows that this is a critical part of the game.
Rice's ball forward, deflected by Benrahma, out towards Cresswell. Benrahma gets it again. He's had a good night so far. Coming in off the left-hand touchline, he's got a chance to deliver across. Gets it onto his right foot, then checks. Spaced up by Odegaard. Now he goes the other way down towards the dead ball line. Can swing it in left-footed, and DeWitt is forced under pressure to chest it behind for another corner.
Great ball. Really tight area. He's full of confidence. Ben Rama does really well to dig that ball out. I think maybe Souček should just go a little earlier. I don't think he expects him to be able to get the ball in. He's saying that it went out of play as well, so it wouldn't have counted anyway, I don't think.
Yeah, goal kick given. The original decision of a corner overruled, and David Moyes looked absolutely bemused by that. We're just seeing a belated replay here as the ball came in. Well, it wasn't close to running out of play. Unless he's given it for a push on DeWitt as he's chested it behind, I don't remotely understand that decision. But play restarts with a goal kick that's taken by Ryan. With 7 minutes to go to half-time, and it's 0-0 here at a vibrant, cacophonous London Stadium.
Well, it's certainly, an evenly matched game, let's put it that way.
Kehrer watches a ball come through the penalty area past him, and DeWitt's able to pick it up. Back for Jordi Clasie. Clasie to Reinders. Clasie again, back out towards DeWitt, the full-back. Jarrod Bowen shows him back inside. Clasie working back to his central midfield partner Reinders. Reinders, who scored twice against Dundee United back in August, making the 50th appearance of his season tonight. And Odegaard tries his luck from distance, but it's an easy save. Areola diving down and making a save to a shot that probably was going wide anyway. Alphonse Areola back on his feet. His record in Europe this season very impressive. 6 clean sheets in his 12 ties. He's only conceded 7. And he booms it forward long here for Antonio, who has just got the last touch on that. The boot maybe raised a little bit high, and that's what the referee took exception to. What's the play going to restart with a free kick? Yeah, it's a free kick for the boot raised by Antonio. AZ take it, 6 to go to half-time, 0-0.
Yeah, I think certainly the West Ham fans will have enjoyed this first 39 minutes. They've wanted a goal, but I think they'll know this is a good team, a very knowledgeable crowd. They'll know this West Ham side, if they are going to win this game over the 2 legs, they're going to have to be at their very best.
Well, the delaying tactics are out, and Ryan eventually will take the free kick. After a couple of defenders had shaped to knock it forward, it was eventually the goalkeeper. And his opposite number, Areola, soon has it, and he booms it forward over halfway. Antonio going up for it, read the bounce beautifully, flicks it on for Bowen. Bowen with a little air shot first up, then carries on towards the edge of the area. It's knocked away. Paquetá picks it up. Said Ben Rama chipping it in, and Ryan can make a comfortable save.
Well, certainly, look, you can tell by the crowd, by the atmosphere. You sense there's a goal for both teams, Jim. But I think especially for West Ham, there's been times when perhaps they haven't looked like they've got a real cutting edge to them, but they do tonight. I think a ball could have bounced one way or the other. Maybe a bit more better fortune, they might have seen themselves score a goal, because I think they've had the better moments in the game, attacking wise.
They've got the best record in this competition of any of the teams. They've won 11 of their 12 European ties this season, scored 30 and conceded only 7. Scored in every game and have kept clean sheets in half of them. No foul in the midfield. It looks as though Paquetá was given his shove to the floor. Referee says no. Van Brederode brings it forward towards the edge of the penalty area here for AZ. Mainans making a run outside. It's back for Reinders. Oh, it's in. He's unleashed from 25 yards, and he's whacked it in past Areola, who maybe saw it late, dived down to his right-hand side and could only help it in, and almost out of nothing, AZ lead by a goal to 0, and the West Ham players are furious. They felt that in the preceding phase of play, there was a foul in the midfield. Play stopped for a moment, but the referee said play on. AZ played to the whistle. And boy, did they exploit it. They lead 1-0, but should there have been a free kick for a foul by Berkemer on Paquetá?
Well, I thought it was. I thought he had a push. I think Areola maybe will feel he could have done better with the strike here. It's a difficult one. It's low down to his right, bounces in a really awkward position just in front of the goal line. He's a quality keeper. It just bounces over. Maybe he'll feel he should have done better there.
as I mentioned earlier, is Paolo Valeri, and you would imagine he will be having a look at it. I mean, it is, seeing the replay, probably eminently preventable, but the goal stands. And the Dutch supporters celebrate wildly again. It's 1-0 at RZ with more than an element of controversy about it.
Well, my initial reaction, I always go back to it was a foul. But the referee he's been a little inconsistent. He's let stuff go and then he's pulled stuff, and I'm a little surprised that he didn't actually stop play there and then. But look, West Ham have now got to regroup. We've got to make sure that they're not knocked off course here.
Gianni Reinder's 7th goal of the season, and RZ lead 1-0. The VAR would have had a look at the incident. There was a good 10 seconds or so between the non-award of the free kick and the goal 70 yards upfield, and that probably was part of the VAR's thinking that even if it was a foul, there was still plenty of time for West Ham United to set themselves defensively, and Areola will be very disappointed he didn't make the save. 2 minutes to go to half-time. Paquetá flicked on by Souček. Antonio coming to meet it, pushes it down. Souček taking it on. Ben Rama to his left-hand side. Paquetá didn't get a hold of it at all. 6 yards out, free header, and it's almost come off the back of his head. And the goalkeeper makes the save. What a chance! He
got it wrong. You know, it was a difficult one, because it might have been slightly behind him, Jim, and he had to somehow find power. But it's slightly behind him, and in the end he tries to improvise, and it catches him on the back. He just lands tamely in the goalkeeper's hands.
But a source of immediate encouragement for West Ham after going behind. Paquetá laying it back for Declan Rice. Rice looking long. Antonio scampering after it, trying to draw Berkema, the centre-half, out of position. And he's done exactly that. Antonio out on the left-hand touchline, finding a way past Berkema. Now getting inside the penalty area. Challenge comes in. Goal kick given. I think that's the right decision. Yeah. Defender flicking it into Antonio and out of play.
Yeah, I think it is. Well, you know, I think obviously the crowd are upset at the referee's performance up to this point. They found it frustrating, but he's got that one right.
The Dutch side leading by a goal to nil. We mentioned earlier that they do have this ability, particularly in the Eredivisie, to be able to raise their game against the better class of opposition. They've done that again tonight, and when you've gone, as they now have, 455 minutes without conceding a goal, you'll be pretty confident that you'll be able to take a positive result back to the Netherlands for the second leg at home next week. We've got 2 minutes of first half stoppage time before David Moyes gets them in and tries to get a few things sorted out, but by and large, apart from the concession of the goal, everything has been going fine for West Ham.
Well, look, it's a good team. Alkmaar are a good team, and I think everyone will know that. These West Ham fans, and certainly the West Ham coaching staff. You know, but it's a bitter blow to concede late in the half. You know, it takes away the momentum in the game, because the momentum was with West Ham, and they have looked like they've got a goal in them, and they've got to keep believing that.
Cresswell firing it long upfield. Antonio going up for it. Beaten by Berkema. Classic, calming things down. Has lived up to his name tonight. He's played really well in the heart of the midfield. The RZ captain. Back for Van Brederode. And the 19-year-old wearing 19. Back inside his own half for Zliakos. Now Mynans. Reinders, the goal scorer, driving for. Pavlidis is going to chase down towards the corner flag. It's not the best clearance from Thilo Kehrer. Straight for Van Brederode. West Ham have potentially another attacking phase to be able to defend before they get in a half-time one down. RZ then work it back inside their own half. And that will allow the Hammers the opportunity to push up. Zliakos with a long fight ball forward. Ben Rama bringing it under control over on the West Ham United left, goes back for Cresswell. Cresswell now to Declan Rice. And Rice will turn it through the midfield, and an opportunity to get West Ham going into RZ territory one final time in this half. Kehrer. Back to Rice, past Zuma. Again. Bowen made an early darting run. There's a reluctance from the Hammers to get the ball forward long, and now the half-time whistle goes. There's a massive ovation for the RZ supporters away to our right-hand side, but the boos that you hear are aimed at the officials, not at the West Ham United team. But they feel that the goal shouldn't have stood because of a push in the previous phase of play of Bukama of Paquetá. It wasn't given. A delegation of 3 West Ham players go and chew the fat with the referee inside the centre circle before he leaves the field. But most of those in claret and blue are back down the tunnel, and there's work to do. Half time in the first leg, West Ham 0, RZ 1.
Aaron Cresswell, Mikel Antonio still in there having words with the referee, Saeed Benrahma as well, Nayef Agurd. And Lucas Paqueta has just given the 4th official, as he's walked down the tunnel, a complete earful. None of these West Ham players are happy. If game management's the name of the game tonight, West Ham growing into the tie. It was a frenetic start. It's been a scintillating atmosphere. You can hear the fans booing the officials down the tunnel. A dogfight at times, but it is exactly what these fans have come here to see in terms of their team fighting for every inch, prepared to give absolutely everything to make it through to a dream European final. But West Ham have been frustrated. They've been the more powerful team, but Alkmaar technically good, well organised, and on the basis of the opening 45 minutes, a very credible opponent who have no intention of losing this tie. Tiani Reinders struck 5 minutes before half-time, a dipping shot from just over 20 yards out. It squirmed through the hands of Alphonse Areola, and at the break it is West Ham 0, RZ 1. Alvin Martin, former England and West Ham defender, alongside me. The big question mark is, should that goal have stood? Was there a push on Paqueta in the build-up?
Well, I thought it was a push. That was my initial reaction. And look, I think that what the West Ham fans are upset about here, Hugh, is that he was letting stuff go and then he wasn't. So there was an inconsistency to what he was deeming a foul and what he wasn't. I agree that if you referee, by all means, tell players to get up. If they're going down very easily, but you do it all or nothing. But he didn't. I think he was stopping some stuff, and then you'd see a similar incident, very similar, and he wouldn't take any action. So that's frustrating for the crowd. It's frustrating for the players.
Lucas Paqueta milked the contact. He wanted the referee to be absolutely sure he was fouled. Maybe that counted against him because there were 2 clear hands on his back, and I wonder if his reaction maybe made the referee's mind up in a negative sense. West Ham, though, still could have defended the situation better, do you think? There will be some, the cameras were following off the pitch, who will blame the goalkeeper, Alphonse Areola. Could he have done better? Could the players in front of him have done better?
Well, yeah, I think they could have closed the ball down. I think in his defence, that would have come, I think Jim mentioned it in the commentary, it would have come through players. So he possibly seen it a little late. But what he'll be disappointed with is that it was struck and it bounced really awkwardly in front of him. I think it's bounced over his hands. I think that's what he'll be disappointed at. I think you've just got to try and judge the bounce, and because he's seen it late, he wasn't able to do that. So he'll feel, I'm sure, that maybe he could have done a little better on that.
Yeah, could have just hit the ground before he got there and bounced over his hands and into the back of the net. And it was really a chance, a few clear-cut chances. We saw probably the best chance fall to Lucas Paqueta after the goal, just ahead of 6 yards out, 5-6 yards out, which he never really got the purchase on. But apart from that, you'd probably have to say in that first half, West Ham were the better team in terms of looking more dangerous in front of goal. The possession certainly in favour of the visitors, though. How do you read the balance of play after that first 45 minutes?
I think what I've seen is 2 very good teams playing well. Both of them will be happy with large elements of their play during that first 45 minutes. Benrahma brought an excellent save out of Ryan, and when I say an excellent save, this is a really good save. It's heading for the bottom left-hand corner to the keeper's left, and he gets a tiny touch on his hands. Otherwise, that goal at a crucial time when the atmosphere was at its highest, it would have been a real platform for them to go on and win the game. But look, they know they're in a game. The worrying thing, I think, for me and West Ham fans is we know that they can defend. They come into the game with 4 clean sheets. We knew it was going to be a tough nut to crack, and now they've got their noses in front. It puts them in control.
You've got to say they've managed the game very, very well in possession, managing to take the sting out of for a period there, a constant barrage of West Ham United attacks. I think you have to say, though, what I would really want to see from this West Ham side is just a little bit more confidence in front of the goal, putting their foot through the ball, making sure they're getting these chances off, making sure the territory counts. Can they be more ruthless?
Well, I think what they can do a bit more aggressive. When they did push that a little harder, a little quicker, and with more aggression, they unnerved the back players, and then it looked like you might rattle them. So I think they need to do more of that in the second half. And I know how difficult it is. Sometimes if you do push and really press, and they get out, they've shown that they're more than capable of technically getting to the edge of your area, and as we've seen, scoring. So it's a real fine balance that. But look, I think what they have to do is take some chances now, but they've got to try and ruffle a few feathers, West Ham, in the second half. Antonio, I think, has caused real problems, so I've been really happy with him. I think Ben Rama on that left-hand side is looking full of confidence, and Jared Bowen, as the half went on, he started to get more of the ball as well. So they've got goals in them. They need an early goal in that second half.
Before the game, you said you thought West Ham would need to get at least a 1-goal lead. Would you take the draw now?
Yes, I would, because I think this side is, this side again is playing with a lot more confidence now. It's more than capable of going away and scoring as well. And do you know what? The strange thing is, they haven't had as good a possession, but on the break, and it's on the break at home here at the London Stadium, they've looked like they can counter-attack really well, and there's no reason why they can't do that out, in the away leg.
West Ham United trail at half-time in the first leg of the Europa Conference League semi-final, but you have to say West Ham have been here before. They went behind early against Ghent in the last round. They managed to score 4 goals in that evening with a stunning second half performance. These Hammers fans inside the London Stadium will be praying for more of the same in the next 45 minutes. Their side has really been the better team, but they're a goal down at the break. Live on Talksport on kickoff with Ladbrokes. You can play at ladbrokes.com, 18+, begambleaware.org. It is West Ham United 0, RZ Alkmaar 1.
Kickoff on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com, 18+, begambleaware.org.
Guys, this is Davina. I need your help. 51% of the population will go through menopause. That's your partners, sisters, friends, co-workers, all navigating this huge change, yet often we feel like we're doing it alone. I want to bring men into the menopause conversation because your allyship is so important. My book, Menopausing, will tell you everything you need to know so you can understand and support the people you care about. Menopausing, out now.
Head to mydieselclaim.com and join thousands of others starting their claims today.
I've just sold my car.
All right.
I got a quote in 30 seconds from We Buy Any Car. Drove to my local branch in 13 minutes. And cash is getting sent to my bank.
Oh, nice.
Just sold my car to We Buy Any Car. Just sold my car to We Buy Any Car.
To find out how much your car's worth in 30 seconds, enter your reg number now at WeBuyAnyCar.com. Admin fee may apply. For more information, visit WeBuyAnyCar.com/info.
Are you tired of uninteresting, uninformed conversations posing as podcasts? I'm Simon Jordan, and up front with William Hill challenge the biggest names in sport.
He is obviously not a leader. It's as plain as the nose on the end of your face.
There's your queen. It's all very well when she's talking about it, but when someone else is trying to justify it, you don't want to know.
I've done my studying into boxing, the dangers and what can happen. 1.1 million punches have been punched in the head.
For a show that cuts through the nonsense and gets straight to the point, search for Upfront on Spotify and YouTube.
At Screwfix, we've got low prices to make you go wow. Like the Triton Enrich electric shower at just $57.49. And the Irwin Jack wood saw, only $6.49. Get trade essentials at wow prices. Shop on the app at screwfix.com or in store. Screwfix, the choice of champions. While stocks last, prices valid until at least 4th of June. Visit screwfix.com for T's and C's, delivery charges and restrictions.
The Army's artificial intelligence defeats over 1,800 cyber attacks every month. But only a soldier can spot new forms of attack. Like the beeps your brain's noticing right now. As you subconsciously scan for patterns. Until you know you've found something. Nothing can do what a soldier can do. Army, recruiting now. Search Army jobs.
Staying in is the new going out. with BT broadband at just $26.99 a month with no upfront costs. So the whole household can play, stream and connect. Plus, get a £20 money-back speed guarantee and Norton Security. Offer ends 25th of May. Switch to BT today and win at staying in. New customers, CPI plus 3.9% increase each March. 24-month contract terms apply.
5 at the back. 5 shots on target. 5 seconds of genius. And now, 5 bets in a bundle. Whatever the action this week, with new football bet bundles from Coral, you can get a bundle of 5 bets for double the value or more. Choose a £2 classic or £5 premium. New football bet bundles, only from Coral.
18 plus UK ROI only, ends 1st of October 23. Real money purchase of £2 or £5 get a football bet bundle. 5 times £1 or 5 times £2. Restrictions and T's and C's apply. Take time to think.
Europa League live on Talksport with Till by NatWest, the card payment provider from NatWest. Till by NatWest. Tomorrow begins today. Fees, T's and C's and eligibility criteria apply.
AM on DAB, on the app and on your smart speaker.
Oh, what a majestic strike!
The Europa Conference League live on Talksport.
A night of nights, a European semi-final, just the 5th in Hammers history. But can they now go one better? Then Rama gets a second bite of the cherry, and Ryan does well, dive down to his left-hand side.
I've got to say, it's a very good watch as well. Very intriguing game, this. You know, a very talented Alkmaar side, technically proficient. Know exactly what they're trying to do. They look at a threat down both flanks.
They won 11 of their 12 European ties this season, scored 30 and conceded only 7. Scored in every game. No foul in the midfield. Looks as though Paquetá was given a shove to the floor. Referee says no. Van Brederode brings it forward towards the edge of the penalty area here for AZ. Mainans making a run outside. It's back for Reinders. Oh, it's in! He's unleashed from 25 yards. Antonio coming to meet it, pushes it down. Sojek taking it on. Ben Rahman to his left-hand side. Paquetá didn't get a hold of it at all. 6 yards out, free header, and it's almost come off the back of his head.
Well, a European knockout tie over 2 legs is a roller coaster of emotions. The pendulum will swing back and forth, but as you heard, Reinders' goal for Alkmaar has swung the pendulum firmly in their favour, but we're only a quarter of the way through this tie. Live on Talksport at the break, West Ham 0, RZ 1. West Ham have had 40% possession at home, 8 shots, 3 on target, and then of course 60% possession for RZ, 5 shots, 3 on target, 0.15 expected goals for the visitors, so you get an understanding of the lack of chance creation that they have had. They won't care. They've got what could turn out to be an all-important goal. So a big second half on the way right here on Talksport. Can West Ham turn things around? Let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18 plus begambleaware.org.
Alex Apati with us for the half-time odds on Talksport. Alex.
Yeah, not a lot's gone West Ham's way so far, has it? Nervy again, and maybe shades of last year's Europa League semi-final here against Frankfurt. Either way, you're disappointed if you're a Hammer. In terms of the betting, 11-4 they are now to win this game. 2-1 the draw, which is probably the most likely outcome. But according to the odds, Alkmaar are 6-5 favourites to take a lead back to the Netherlands. Ben Rama has been heavily involved. Great cross in there for Paquetá. He probably looks best himself to score for the hosts. He's 7-1 to get the next goal of the game. I don't know about you, I think it should be 1-1 in my opinion. That header was a great chance just after Alkmaar scored. The good news for West Ham though is we're just 4-11 for both teams to score now. You mentioned the expected goals of Alkmaar, but you've got to expect West Ham to come out and give it some this half, so I wouldn't be surprised at all if Alkmaar scored another. They're 2-1 to score in the second half. My bets at the start of the game still on as things stand. Antonio to score at any time is 100-30 now, and under 2.5 goals after 45 minutes. That's now 8-11.
Alex, thank you very much. Those were the latest odds with Ladbrokes. You can play at ladbrokes.com. It's 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18 plus begambleaware.org.
Your choice of live sport on Talksport this evening over on Talksport 2 in Super League. It is Wakefield 0, Hull FC 6 at the break. You can swipe easily between our two networks on the Talksport app, so make sure you download it. Elsewhere in the European action tonight, in the Europa League, goalless between Roma and Leverkusen. Sevilla lead Juventus in Italy by a single goal to nil. In the other semi-final in the Europa Conference League, it is Fiorentina 1, Basel 0. Remember, plenty more live football for you coming across the Talksport network. We'll have all of the playoff semi-finals, first and second legs, live for you across the network. All starts tomorrow evening on Talksport 2, exclusively with Peterborough hosting Sheffield Wednesday. Leeds versus Newcastle, lunchtime on Talksport in the Premier League before Aston Villa's game against Spurs. But a big second half to come here inside the London Stadium. The players making their way back out onto the pitch. Alvin Martin, what do you want to see from David Moyes' side from the off here?
Well, I think they're going to have to take more risks now, because they need to start really quickly in the second half, keep this atmosphere up, and certainly put more pressure on them. But at the risk of conceding another, I'm not saying do that in a silly way. You've got to do it in a really intelligent way, which is not easy. But look, I think it's about really, what's at stake here. You've got to give it everything, and that means really just running yourself into the ground the first 20 minutes.
Fingers crossed West Ham have learned from that European voyage to the Europa League semi-finals last year, and they can put themselves in a great position to reach the Europa Conference League final this year. The second half live on Talksport. West Ham 0, Alkmaar 1, with the West Ham legend Alvin Martin and Talksport's Jim Brownfoot.
Hugh, thank you very much indeed. No changes in terms of personnel from either manager ahead of this second half. West Ham in claret and blue get the game back underway. And the Hammers are kicking from right to left. And Alkmaar in their change kit of all blue already on the back foot inside their own penalty area, but the goal scorer Reinders is able to clear. West Ham trying to work it forward towards Souček. And AZ whack it clear this time, where again he's forced to try and head the ball out of play. He doesn't find touch with it, and Van Brederode eventually realises he's not going to be able to get past Kehrer, so lets it run out of play for a throw. West Ham, Areola in goal, Kehrer, Zuma, again and Cresswell, Souček, Rice and Paquetá, Bowen, Antonio and Benrahma. AZ Ryan in goal, Sugawara, Burkema, Hatziriakos and De Witt. Klassie and Reinders, Odgaard, Mainons and Van Brederode, and Pavlidis leads the line. He's hardly had a sniff, and he's very highly regarded with a great reputation. West Ham have dealt with him pretty well. But the long-range effort from Reinders is the one that went in 3 minutes before half-time. And it's given West Ham work to do in this second half. Remember, they've got a 100% home European record in Europe this season. Long ball played forward down the Hammers' right. Antonio going up for it, didn't get a touch, but neither did his marker. And he goes through towards Bowen. Bowen plays it back inside his own half for Kehrer. Kehrer all the way back for Areola. He will clear towards halfway. Helped on again on the right-hand side of the midfield by Souček. But just a little bit of a ragged start. The West Ham pass is not finding their intended targets in the opening 90 seconds since the resumption. Delighted to say, alongside me is the former England defender and West Ham legend, Alvin Martin. And they're on the front foot again. Odgaard chasing a ball that should have come closer to finding him from Mainons. Areola will be able to clear towards halfway, but West Ham can't make anything of it.
I think sometimes as well, there's obviously a reputation at West Ham, the academy, getting the ball down, and playing 1 and 2 touch football. There's also a case, I think, certainly with this crowd, for getting after the ball, Jim. It might be if a player thundering into a tackle and coming out with the ball that lifts the stadium and all of a sudden gives you, a momentum to push on. But every one of those West Ham players, really, when the tackle's there to be won, they've got to go for it, because that can lift the crowd as well.
You'll have your chance to react to everything that you've heard tonight on the Sports Bar. 03717 223344 and get you through. What will we be reacting to? Will it be a night where the refereeing decisions have played a major part? Will we be reacting to a fantastic West Ham fight back in this second period? Ball play forward here towards Antonio. Ends up on the deck. Certainly seem to have arms around him. Referees let it go. Mainans, who's playing at 10, can bring the ball forward. Put AZ out towards Van Brederode. He's really looked the part, the teenage winger. Back to Reinders, the goal scorer, urged to shoot by the AZ supporters behind that goal. On guard will be able to come in off the right flank, but then works it back to the centre half. And he's given it away. Ben Rama will let the ball run out of play after the mistake by Burkema, and it's out for a throw, which the Hammers take quickly with Cresswell. 1-0 to AZ in the 4th minute of the second half here on Talksport.
I think, you know, they have proved in the first half that if you really press well, I'm talking about with a lot of intensity and a lot of intelligence, you can rattle this team, but it has to be done perfectly.
Ben Rama controlling a cross-field ball beautifully. Cresswell on his bike to his left-hand side. Ben Rama hooks it inside the penalty area towards the far post, and they got a corner out of it. DeWitt not taking any chances, knowing that Bowen was coming in behind him. And the first corner of the second half goes West Ham's way.
The crowd are certainly still with their team, aren't they, at the London Stadium. You know, that ball there, you can see they're totally behind them, and that gives you a lift, you know, as a player. You know, you've got a little bit of a situation where, you know, they're going to stay with you.
In comes the corner. Ryan flaps it at the near post, gets something on it. Come back across the 6-yard box. Antonio goes down. Referee says play on. Ball stood up far too high towards the far post. Sails over everybody's head, now to play for a goal kick in a potentially awkward moment for the visitors. Comes to nothing, and Bowen hangs his head in frustration.
Yeah, he's better than that. He's better than that. It's on his left foot. He's not under any real pressure. He's overhit it, the cross. But I think it is a stage now. If you get balls in the box, it's just throwing yourself at it. You know, wanting it more than the opposition, and then trying to read where that ball's going to bounce. I think there were 2 or 3 occasions in the first half, Jim, where, you know, they were a little unfortunate. The ball could have broke one way or another. You just got to keep believing.
The live Super League action for you right now over on Talksport 2, and the score still remains the same. Cagey game at Wakefield tonight. Hull FC leading by 6 points to 0 in the opening 10 minutes of the second half of that one. It's live for you right now over on Talksport 2. This one, West Ham trail 1-0. Bowen just oblivious to the fact that he had Van Brederode in behind him and dispossessed him. Now West Ham do win it back with Souček and quickly work it back for again. Now Declan Rice can bring it forward. Rice, who scored against Ghent in last Europa League tie here. 4-1 victory for the Hammers that night, in one of their best performances of the season. And hoping to harness a similar kind of impressive second half here. Again, bring it forward towards halfway. Into the feet of Ben Rama, and back for again. Come on, you Irons. Rings around this stadium. It really is such a vibrant, special atmosphere here tonight. Antonio chasing, a long ball played forward, knocked away by Burkema. And Antonio's got himself isolated against the weaker of the 2 centre halves, but he hasn't really had too much change out of him through most of the course of the evening. Odegaard losing out, the right winger, played down the line by the Hammers knife again. Good control by Antonio. Back to the direction of play. Surely that's a foul. Referee says no. Antonio's been given nothing all night.
No, I think he knew that, you know, maybe he stumbled there. But certainly the crowd aren't a fan of the referee, are they? Neither am I.
Throw to be taken on the AZ right-hand side. Sugawara's going to take it. The Japanese international has played more than 150 games for AZ. And one of any number of players that has been linked with a move away from the club over the summer. Here's Classy. Now Reinders. Down towards Sugawara. Played forward down the right-hand touchline, but a little bit too pacey, the ball, and Cresswell can pick it up. Cresswell, who was sent off in the second leg of the semi-final last season, playing it forward past Antonio. And it's won back easily again by Classy. And as they're playing the game at walking pace at times, just trying to invite West Ham to put more pressure on the ball. Now when Antonio does that, Classy goes up through the gears and loses out. As an effective press that time. Paquetá trying to get on Ben Rama's through ball, but the covering was good from Hatzidakis, and he's able to get it away. Looked as though the ball might have gone out of play for a throw. Referee says no. Play goes on. Hammers turn it over quickly. Benrahma sold short on the second half of a 1-2 from Paquetá, who hasn't been at his best tonight. And AZ can get it away. And Mainons is going to be able to play it out towards Van Brederode, the dark-haired, thick-set winger over on the AZ left. Back from him to the left back de Wit. Van Brederode making a run into an offside position, so they had to recycle the ball in a more conservative way back through the middle for Jordi Clasie. Clasie inside his own half of the centre circle. Berkema taking another couple of touches, plays it forward towards Jens Odgaard, who had a brief spell playing in Italy in Serie A for Sassuolo. He's had a very good first season in the Netherlands. Long crossfield ball, Van Brederode almost with a sublime piece of control, flicking with his heel over Kehrer. Kehrer did really well to get back and stay goal side. Van Brederode has to come back out. Now the ball is played back in his direction. He didn't read it in time. Zuma clears it into the feet of Rice. West Ham will play out from the back, forward towards Bowen. Bowen turning it forward, trying to win a throw, can't do so. Rice trying to emerge with the ball at his feet. Claims that he was wrestled to the ground come from the supporters and not from the West Ham players themselves. And AZ turn over possession but go back inside their own half. We've played 9 minutes of this second half, and the Reinders goal 3 minutes before half time is still the difference between the two teams here on Talksport.
Well, just a few minutes ago we've seen a run from Paquetá. The ball was inches away from his right boot, trying to get onto it and control it. He hasn't had his best game tonight, but he is capable of turning this game on his head.
Reinders able to turn in the midfield. Another try for Hull in that Super League game over on Talksport 2. They lead 12-0 at Wakefield. Talksport 2 tomorrow night for the first of our 15 live playoff games over the course of the remainder of this month, as Peterborough take on Sheffield Wednesday, a side that came so close to automatic promotion from League One and will feel that they should have got there. More playoff action coming your way then Saturday with Bolton Barnsley and Sunderland Luton, the two League One games on Talksport 2. And the local derby between Salford and Stockport is on Talksport 2, 7:45 Saturday night. We've also got more live Premier League action, a massive game at Leeds, who are 19th in the Premier League, taking on third place Newcastle. If Leeds don't win that, they could conceivably be relegated before they next kick a ball. Leeds Newcastle at 12:30 kickoff on Talksport Saturday lunchtime, and it's followed by Villa against Spurs as the European picture very much takes shape, and it's a big game for both of those as well. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff on Saturday. Here and now we're 11 into the second half. West Ham still trail 1-0. Ogard. One back by Zuma. And then Souček turns it back towards Alphonse Areola. Areola by the penalty spot, playing it out towards Cresswell. Cresswell through the midfield towards Declan Rice, and Rice will take it, gets away from Pavlidis, who's already having covered a lot of ground, looking as though he's beginning to get tired. He's had very little service, the leader of the line, and he's doing a lot of work off the ball. And then as West Ham bring it forward, one of the centre halves goes down injured. I think it's Hansidiakos, and a yellow card is shown for the challenge.
I don't know where he's got that from. Is it Paquetá? But like, yeah. I honestly don't know where he's got that from. He's followed the ball. No, there's nothing wrong. He's toe-poked the ball away and then feigned the injury.
So Paquetá in the book. Joining de Wit from the first half. And there is a sense from the West Ham players that they don't trust the refereeing decisions. They've got to make sure that that doesn't get the better of them. Another yellow card's been shown. That was for Clasie, for time wasting, for delaying the restart, standing over a free kick and doing so for an eternity. Now it will be taken by Ryan, and Ryan clatters it upfield. Cresswell trying to make something of it. Odgaard has beaten him, and then another free kick has gone AZ's way, and it suits the Dutch side. The more this just gets spoiled off this game, there's frustration all around.
Well, I think what we've got witnessing a game here, it's been a really good football match. You know, Alkmaar have got the lead in the game, but now all of a sudden it's all about the referee, and I hate games like that.
2 men in this West Ham wall, and they stand just by the corner of the penalty area. It's going to be a ball swung in for one of 4 blue shirts inside that box. West Ham have everybody apart from Bowen back. In towards the near post is a really poor delivery, and the counter-attack is on. Sugawara out of position. Long ball played forward, but too much ahead of Benrahma. And Berkema can work it back for his goalkeeper, who's going to be able to clear out towards the far touchline. West Ham with a throw. It's a little bit more intensity about these passages of play now. Again, stung by the perceived injustice. Good long throw over the top from Kera. Bowen hooking it back in, but it had just gone over the dead ball line before he did so, and it's out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, I think that we're reaching that stage now where the crowd are demanding aggression from West Ham. They're demanding, you know, anything that's effort, just trying to rush the ball. They don't care about the technical side. Let's get in their faces. You sense that you've got to ruffle a few feathers here. The fans know it. And that's exactly what West Ham have got to try and do.
But the concern, Alv, is that 14 minutes into the second half, and West Ham haven't had a sided goal since half-time. Ryan getting the hurry up from the crowd, if not the referee. They've got to try and get themselves into more constructive positions in and around the final third. How are they going to go about it?
Well, it is really about all about the press, and it is about, you know, not panicking too much, but just putting the effort in. You know, trying to win your one-on-one battles, and I think at the moment they're just starting to creep back in the crowd. What I will say is, Jim, you know that the team's working hard enough because the crowd is still with them. If they weren't working hard enough, the crowd sense that and they get frustrated.
Again, down towards Cresswell. Cresswell will go back for Naif again. To his right-hand side is Kurt Zuma. Once more to again working it between the lines. Benrahma getting to the edge of the centre circle, comes to meet it, spoons it forward. Good flick on by Paquetá. Bowen will get there first, inside the penalty area, chopping it onto his left foot and firing narrowly wide. That was much better, but he just couldn't hit the target.
Well, that was Paquetá winning the header, flicking on. He knew exactly what he was doing. Jared Bowen got into contact with him, so they've got both Paquetá and Bowen within 10 yards of Antonio, and that's what they've got to do as well. They've got to be in close proximity, knowing that if he doesn't win a ball, that they can still get repossessed, you know, in a vital area. But certainly there, Bowen and Benrahma, the wide areas, are looking sharp tonight.
I think the next time Ryan delays the goal kick, he's going to get a yellow card. That looked like a foul on Antonio. How many times have we said that tonight? Rinse and repeat. Ball fall from Cresswell. West Ham win it back with Benrahma. Benrahma towards halfway. Antonio making a run through the middle. Benrahma still got it, travelling towards the edge of the penalty area. Possibly hit Antonio's heels with the pass forward. And Arze can get it away, but they know they're in a game now. Pavlidis, it's well played. Good turn by Ogard. Ogard makes his way forward. Great covering from the Hammers back line again. Quickly got himself back goal side. Now Cresswell can as well. It just looked as though Ogard might be able to spring a counter and a numerical advantage, but it didn't quite work that way. Now play forward towards Reinders, who surely was offside. Flag comes up against him. And Zuma takes the free kick quickly. 17 gone second half. You would Talksport. Jim Proudfoot and the former West Ham captain Alvin Martin talking through the action in the East End of London tonight, where the Hammers trail 1-0 in such an intriguing first leg.
On this left-hand side, Benrahma is so hungry for the ball, Jim. There's times when he's got it in so tight areas. He's got 3 or 4 players around him, and somehow he comes out with the ball. Now, if you can get him on the edge of the box in that sort of situation, he's a game changer.
You listen to the Conference League live on Talksport with Till by NatWest, the card payment partner that works hard for your business. West Ham work it forward again, down the right-hand side of the penalty area. Clearance, the highest clearance that you could wish to see. Went about 30 yards up in the air, eventually drops just over the touchline, and out of play from De Wit for a West Ham throw, and they flood the penalty area. Rice stands on the edge of the box, most of his teammates in it. Ryan comes to meet it, frantically Backpedals. Antonio trying the overhead kick, didn't get it right at all. Loose ball broke towards the edge of the 6 and is cleared. Brought down then in a much deeper position by Cresswell, and Paquetá, in trying a little flick towards Benrahma, gets it all wrong and puts it straight out of play for a throw.
Yeah, he hasn't had his best night. He's a player that'll keep going though. He'll keep trying to take risks and try, his flicks and whatever, because he's got a lot of self-belief. But on a night like tonight, you wanted him to be the real deal, didn't you? You wanted him to be at his very best.
Pavlidis flicking it on for Odgaard. Van Brederode making a run. He's surely offside by the time the pass was played, and he did the officiating for the assistant referee himself. He made no attempt to run towards the ball. West Ham play out from the back. Rice venturing forward into RZ territory. Down towards Antonio. First time ball inside the penalty area. Cleared by the RZ back line. Headed on by Odgaard. Pavlidis loses out. West Ham gambling more bodies forward now, and they're keeping Odgaard and Pavlidis up against them to try and make it a 2 against 2, 2 against 3 whenever they can. Keep the Hammers honest.
Yeah, they are. They're playing a risky game themselves, aren't they? Know it's a critical stage of the game. This could go either way now. West Ham could very much get back in the game, but you also feel when they turn the ball over, Alkmaar are looking to add to a 1-goal lead.
Ironic cheers as Benrahma has a free kick given his way for a foul by Sugawara. And it's another chance for the Hammers to get everybody forward. Cresswell taking the free kick from the wrong place, but quickly. West Ham have got the bodies forward. Now he comes in from Paquetá, deep towards the far post, headed back down across the face of goal, and one of the West Ham players got there ahead of the goalkeeper Ryan. What's the decision from the referee? Ryan coming out. Was there a handball in there? A push? Yellow card given. It's going to be a penalty. The on-field decision is a penalty. Ryan coming out to punch the ball. I don't think he's punched Bowen. Just having a look at the replay now, and he got there late, and it's an uppercut to Bowen's chin, and it is a penalty to West Ham United.
Yep, I can't see that one getting overruled. The only thing is, it's Souček won a ball on the far post. You never know, do you? He's got his hand on the shoulder of the Alkmaar defender. Will they look at that? I don't think so. I think this penalty decision stands.
Well, there's a right shake of the head from Ryan, but he just didn't get there in time.
Just shows you though, Jim, that I said, just throw yourself at a ball. Hope that you get a little break of luck. And this just may have gotten back in the game. Just pure desire.
Said Benrahma stands with the ball in his hand. Declan Rice stands on the penalty spot, almost protecting it to stop any shenanigans from any of the RZ players. Benrahma now spots it down. The referee's having a word with Ryan, who's yellow carded for the foul. Said Benrahma has scored 4 penalties in the Premier League this season, and he has the opportunity to get West Ham United back in this European tie.
What a moment, Jim. What a moment.
He stands inside the penalty area, hands on hips. Ryan by no means the tallest goalkeeper. Can Benrahma find the corner? This to tie it up at 1-1. The crowd will let you know what's happened. Benrahma, right-footed. Never in doubt. Said Benrahma rattles it into the bottom left-hand corner, and West Ham are back on level terms in this European semi-final.
Well, game back on now. There's going to be questions asked the remainder of this game in Alkmaar, and I tell you what, they're going to be asked by the crowd as much as the West Ham team. You've got to give him credit there. Never looked like he wasn't going to stick it in the back of the net, Benrahma. And I've got to say, at this moment in time, out of everyone on that pitch with a West Ham shirt, he looks the most confident of all of them.
In the immediate aftermath of the goal, RZ make a change, and they're bringing on Swedish under-21 international winger Michael Lahto, who comes off the bench in nearly every game. It's his 36th substitute appearance of the season, and he's replaced Odgaard, so it's a straight swap on the right flank. Lachdo for Odgaard. This is the second of the 4 halves of football we will see between these two over this semi-final. We're midway through it, and it's dead level again. And of course, a reminder that away goals don't come into play. So 1-1 the score is genuine parity. 68 on the clock here on Talksport. The second leg is live on Talksport 2 next week. 8 o'clock kick-off for that as well. Declan Rice has got the ball. From this position, the Hammers will fancy that they can garner a first leg advantage. Antonio's got it. Rice has made his way forward into the middle. Really good covering, defending, and then a challenge comes in on Berkemer. And by Berkemer on Antonio on the edge of the penalty area, which looked like it might be a foul. The referee says play on. Paquetá nodding it down through the midfield. Souček to Thilo Kehrer. Kehrer is 10 yards inside the RZ half. Declan Rice has got it now. West Ham beginning to turn the screw. Haven't quite got their foot on the throat of RZ, but this has been their best spell of the game. Rice down towards Cresswell. Cresswell to Paquetá to Benrahma. And back for Declan Rice again. Rice for side Benrahma. Yard in from the left-hand touchline. Now Paquetá bringing it forward. Low cross from him. Steered away for a corner. And Paquetá urges the crowd to supply even more volume if that were possible. And they respond. 20 to go in this first leg. It's 1-1.
But before the equaliser, it was on a knife edge. Alkmaar had a real trek going back the other way. It looked like they could get a second. Not now. They're leaving one up front. And it's all West Ham. Listen to it. It's rocking in here.
In the Super League, live on Talksport 2 right now. Wakefield 0, Hull 20. Cresswell to take this corner from the West Ham United left. It's their 4th corner of the night without reply. In it comes towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Souček close to it. Antonio is lying down, holding his head in the penalty area. No, it's not Antonio, I beg your pardon. It's Kurt Zouma, is it? It's down, holding his head inside the penalty area. I don't know, not got a clue what put him there. The VAR will be having a look at the incident. We will see a replay now, and he's just been blocked off. There was a flailing arm, but Zouma's okay. They won't give a penalty for that. I've never seen this place like this. I don't think this place has ever been like this.
Well, no, you know, last year when they were playing well in the Europa League, it was rocking, Jim. It was like this, but it just shows you that, you know, it's the crowd, it's the team and the crowd combined that creates, you know, atmospheres like this. And the next 5 minutes, really, they need something. They need something else. If they get a second goal, you can imagine the whole thing turns.
The winners of this play Fiorentina or Basel in the final, and that one is also now 1-1. Basel have equalised. Paquetá bring it towards the edge of the penalty area. It's cleared by Sugawara. Back to his defender Berkemer. And again knocks it away. Then Zouma stepping forward. He's fine after that knock to the face. And it clears again. Away from Lachdo, the substitute, out of play for a throw that Sugawara will take on the right-hand side. The Japanese international threats to throw it long down the line for Pavlidis. Finds Lachdo instead. The young Swede turns through the midfield away from Benrahma. Reinders, score of the RZ goal. They led for 25 minutes of this first leg. Play forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Up go the heads, but Cresswell can clear. Rice will control it. Plays it down towards Aaron Cresswell again. Rice gets to the left-hand touchline and whacks it forward. Cleared by Sugawara. 2 West Ham players going for the same ball in the midfield. Souček won it, and won it cleanly, and finds Paquetá, who can turn. Back then from Benrahma. Cresswell drives it forward. Chested down by Antonio. Classy, winning it back. But it feels as though RZ are just stemming the tide whenever they get possession back, that they're not really in a position that they can do too much constructive with it. 18 minutes to go. And your reaction, of course, more than welcome on the Sports Bar. 08717 22 33 44. I was taking your calls tonight with your reaction to a spirited West Ham United comeback. And will they be able to complete the comeback and get themselves ahead for the second leg? Pavlidis laying it back. There was no run down the right-hand touchline from Lakdo. Cresswell controls it, plays it through the penalty area onto the right foot of Areola, who will clear, chips it forward towards halfway. Paquetá going up for it, nods it down. Oh, it's a brilliant ball from Rice. First time, just made that look so easy. Well, bounced up awkwardly and he hooked it down towards Benrahma.
And there's been an upturn in Paquetá as well. All of a sudden his passes are finding their target. Another one's just done it.
And Bowen finds his target as well. Thilo Kehrer on the overlap. Kehrer on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Trying to get a cross in and hope for a deflection. It wasn't forthcoming. It goes out of play for a goal kick. Benrahma is making a proper nuisance of himself. The West Ham bench, incidentally, we haven't seen anyone yet. These are the subs: Johnson, Fornals, Lanzini, Downs, Cornet, Ings, Emerson, Potts and Mbama. And right on cue, Danny Ings is actually getting ready, and he will be coming on very shortly. 16 minutes to go. Danny Ings, who's only ever scored one goal in European football in his career. A misplaced pass through the midfield, and Benrahma's on it. Benrahma getting it back from Paquetá. Benrahma then checks back inside. Great touch. Antonio trying to roll his man. Can't get into a shooting position. He's got on the ground. It's a corner, not a penalty.
Well, they're functioning now. I think they got back in the fight, really. West Ham with pure design now. They're starting to play with a lot more technical ability, and they're passing, they're finding passes. They're match winners. The intricate technical players are coming to the fore for them.
Corner to be taken on the West Ham United right. Rice makes his way forward towards the edge of the 6-yard box. In it comes again. Zuma didn't get hold of it. Finds Rice. Rice clipping it back in, and he's cleared off the line and put it in. And West Ham United have the lead. Mikel Antonio from close range, and the London Stadium erupts in rapture. Those dreams will not fade and die. They've come from behind with 2 goals in 9 minutes, and they lead by 2 goals to 1.
Shows character and desire, and the two mixed together is a powerful mixture in football. Declan Rice does brilliant, but it looks like they've got away with it here, Alkmaar. But the ball comes to him on his weaker left-hand side. He puts the ball into a real dangerous zone. What happens after that? We're having a look at the screen now. They're looking at a handball, but he flicks it in. It's a header. It goes over. It looks like handball by the defender, and then it's played in from a yard. Antonio. Was it already over the line? It might have already been over the line, Jim.
Well, the ball was chipped in by Declan Rice. It was again with the header. It was cleared, actually quite brilliantly, on the line by Sugawara. But Antonio was there to get the decisive touch to bundle it over the line. And they'll look at it later to see whether he was already over the line from again. But the bottom line is it doesn't matter. West Ham really don't care. They lead by 2 goals to 1. And for now, it's credited to Mick Antonio, his 14th of the season, and his 7th in 9 European ties. And it's deserved. It's deserved over the 76 minutes of action we've seen. But they're in a position now that they're on the front foot. They can really do damage. They can win this tonight. They're in the penalty area again. And Ryan watches that one drift innocuously past his top left-hand corner from Thilo Kehrer. They've got to keep going. They can't think that the job is done.
Absolutely.
They can do the job. They score another, or maybe another 2 in the 15 minutes that are left. They can get this one this evening.
Well, up until 10 minutes ago, it was Alkmaar who have been asking all the questions of West Ham, of the crowd. Now, West Ham are asking questions of Alkmaar. Have they got the answers?
Ryan not so tardy about his goal kick now. Pavlidis bringing it down. Mainans. Played out towards the impressive Van Brederode, the left winger for AZ. Falling towards Pavlidis. Zuma gets it away. Out of play for a throw that will be taken on the AZ left-hand side by DeWitt. DeWitt to Hatsidiakos. This, remember, an AZ side hadn't conceded for, when the first one went in, 477 minutes, 3 minutes short of 8 hours. But they've been breached twice in quick succession. Danny Ings is still going to come on. He's not on yet, but he will be on next break in play. And Mihailovic will come on for AZ. Here's the first of their subs. Lachdo. Tricky winger. Getting towards the byline. Drives it in. Again, clears it. Spoons it high up in the air out towards the touchline. Mainons winning it back. Sliding challenge from Ben Rama puts it out. And it's a throw which will be taken on the right-hand side after the changes are made. So Danny Ings for Antonio is the West Ham change. He leaves having scored potentially the winner with his last touch.
I think Antonio could be forgiven for thinking it was personal, the duel with the referee. He hasn't given him anything tonight. The one thing he has kept doing, like the whole of the team, just keep going. Just keep going.
And Van Brederode will come off and he'll be replaced on the left wing by George Mihailovic, United States international, who can play as a winger, can play as a 10 or a forward. Scored 9 goals last season in MLS, playing for Montreal. And he'll come on seemingly on the left wing. So both managers with a little reshuffle with 10 minutes of this first leg to go. West Ham 2, AZ 1. Sugawara with what looked like a foul throw, not his first of the night either. Lachdo, good skill on the edge of the penalty area by Mainons. The West Ham block, and it goes out of play for a throw which Sugawara again will take. He's done well to work it into the feet of Pavlidis, but Ben Rama with brilliant ball juggling knocks it away and turns and drives. And Danny Ings made a run down the left-hand side. Ben Rama ran into a brick wall, straight down the cul-de-sac. AZ won it back. And now they will be able to work it forward. From the left back to Witt. 10 minutes to go. You would talk sport. Jim Proudfoot and Alvin Martin talking you through the action. It's 2-1 West Ham. Lachdo with a shot from the edge of the penalty area after a crossfield ball. Somewhat unlikely. Found its man, and then Paquetá rolling it down the line. Here's a lovely pass for Ings. He'll take it down towards the corner flag and then check and briskly work it back for Lucas Paquetá again. Paquetá almost standing on the ball for a moment, not quite Andrei Kanchelski's style all those years ago in that cup tie, but just rolling it back the studs of his right boot, and West Ham United ultimately concede possession, and it's a throw which will be taken on the AZ right. 2-1 to the Hammers.
10 minutes ago, do you stick, do you twist, do you look for a third? The crowd is certainly with you, giving you the platform to go and look for that third. I'll tell you what, the picture looks a hell of a lot better than it did a few minutes ago. It's completely been turned on its head, doesn't it? You couldn't see a goal coming for West Ham now. 2-1 up. Wow, it's so nicely poised, this game.
Well, you say, does he stick, does he twist? Surely he's got to stick. I mean, I know that AZ are much more purposeful. They're coming forward. They're trying to take the game to the Hammers a little bit more, as they did in the last 15 minutes of the first half. But David Moyes, you've surely got to tell him to keep going. Carry on doing.
There'll be a lot of crowd, a lot of players down there are being affected by this atmosphere. It demands that you go, that you keep going. You've got like a crowd, like a baying for another goal. I think the crowd sense it. But you know what? It's such a tight game. There's two good teams. It might take another goal. It might take another goal because this is a very. I must admit, I've been surprised by how good Alkmaar have been.
Now Ings able to bring it forward. Finds Ben Rama. Ben Rama on the left-hand side of the penalty area, working it in. Danny Ings, Ben Rama! Oh, he's put it over the bar! 8 yards out, it's a great move. He played such an integral part in it. Couple of 1-2s with Ings. Rolled back for Ben Rama. It would have been a peach of a goal. But he's put it over the top right-hand corner. And it's a big let-off for the Dutch.
Danny Ings has certainly got into the game, hasn't he? He's got into the pace of the game. It's not easy to do that. He's linked up, he's kept the ball, his touch looks sharp. Ben Rama's been outstanding all night. It looked like he got all that right. Lovely little give and go. The back heel by Danny Ings, set him up on his right foot, and he's capable of finding that top corner. It would have had to be the top corner. What a goal it would have been.
Well, winning this competition, I'm not getting ahead of myself by talking about winning it, but it can be a passport to other things next season, of course. If you win it, you're in the Europa League. That's how Roma won it last year, and they lead their semi-final first leg against Bayer Leverkusen 1-0 in the Europa League. Juventus 0, Sevilla 1, still to score in the other, as West Ham bring it forward again. Ings couldn't quite take it past Burkema. Back in from Cresswell, chested down towards Paquetá, in behind Ings. Cresswell flicking it forward again, round the corner from Benrahma, and then Paquetá goes down, and the referee, who's well placed, looking right at it, just must have decided that Paquetá has made the most of it. If he thinks that, he's got to book him for diving. But I don't know, Alv, I don't know what you thought. I'm not prejudging your opinion or the replay, but I was amazed he didn't give a free kick for that.
Well, I don't know. I honestly don't know what is and what isn't in this referee's mind, because he changes it. He gets some of the ball, he gets some of the player there as well. Ordinarily, you think, okay, that's a foul. But one thing is for sure, Paquetá, his flicks, some of his, his frilly little bits of play, they weren't coming off. Now they are. He's certainly, a player that's kept going and now looks capable of, having a major impact in the remainder of the game.
Paquetá plays it down towards the West Ham United left side, Benrahma. Benrahma gets it back from Paquetá. Benrahma again. Just head down, driving forward, but it's knocked away. Cresswell intercepts the clearance. Rice back for Cresswell again. Paquetá forward through the midfield. Souček on the stretch, diverts it wide. Benrahma hooking it in. It's headed high up in the air towards their own goal. Souček trying to get further distance on it, but Ryan can make the save. And we've got 5 minutes of this engaging first leg to go, with the West Ham fans delighted by the way that the last 20-25 minutes have unfolded. They lead 2-1, having trailed at half-time.
Well, it's been a great game of football, Jim. It's just flown, hasn't it? It really has. And I think I said to you, I've been surprised how good Alkmaar is. But look, this will be a difficult game for them. The pressure will be on them to come out and attack West Ham. And as we've seen tonight, when they turn over a ball, that's when West Ham have looked at their very best. So the game is certainly, it's not won by any stretch of the imagination, but intriguing to say the least.
That second leg live on Talksport 2 for you, with a build-up at 7 ahead of an 8 o'clock kickoff next week. We'll also be bringing live Premier League action next Thursday night. Newcastle against Brighton. Newcastle, depending on how results go between now and then, might cement Champions League football next Thursday night. Might do it. All depends. It certainly can cement a top 5 place next Thursday. We've got that game for you live from St James's under the lights next Thursday night on Talksport. Classy. Played out to the AZ left. Worked forward towards Pavlidis. Good run being made off the ball by Mihailovic, but he couldn't find him. West Ham winning it back with Zuma. Zuma continues to stride forward. He's gone 30 yards, 40 yards, makes his way into the middle. Still he goes, Kurt Zuma. Oh, it's right through the 6-yard box. In front of Ryan, behind the defenders, and no West Ham player gambled. And Bowen just looked at his teammates as if to say, why was no one there to tap it in for 3?
Well, it's a great run by Zuma. Once he plays the ball to Bowen, he's got 2 players in front of him. He plays the perfect ball. I think he's just a little bit ahead of his team. Danny Ings can't get in there. It's Benrahma, if anyone, should be a little bit further advanced, but he's run himself into the ground tonight, Benrahma. Maybe he's just running out of fuel.
3 to go. 2-1 to West Ham. Rice heading the ball forward. As much as you can never successfully predict anything. 2-1 feels like the tie's still very much on a knife edge. 3-1 to West Ham, and they would be overwhelming favourites. Although, having said that, AZ did come back from a 2-0 first leg deficit in the last round to beat Anderlecht at home by the same scoreline and go through on penalties. But the difference between 2-1 and 3-1 somehow is more than a goal. It would be monumental psychologically.
In some ways, you know, Jim, this was a more dangerous game than the one that they're going to be playing away, because the onus is on West Ham to take chances, to push forward. The crowd, you know, are absolutely behind their team, but want to see their team attack. So it was a dangerous game for David Moyes in that respect.
Azeda got it again. Mainans turning in towards the centre circle for Classy. Classy on halfway. Lays it back, played forward through the midfield. Pavlidis trying a little wall pass to bring Mainans into it. Rice stretches out the right leg, stabs it clear. West Ham look to bring it forward quickly. Paquetá couldn't find Ben Rama. Pavlidis knocks it away. And then he goes back towards halfway. Classy's going to be able to pick it up. And they got it back in the centre circle again. 89 on the clock, 2-1 West Ham. Crossfield ball down towards the right flank. Mihailovic laying it out. Sugawara with a cross. Was that handball in there? Hammers fans thought so, the players as well. Sugawara sends another high cross in, and that one's just sailed over Areola's goal. Now to play for a goal kick as the ball comes back to him a little bit more quickly than he wanted. He boots it back into the crowd. Gets another from the ball boy. The referee might take exception to that. Tells him to get on with it, spot it down quickly and get on with it, and you'll get away with the yellow card. But a change is actually going to be made. Fornals, this is going to be Fornals for Ben Rama, I'm sure, as we go into the final 30 seconds, and he deserves every bit of this ovation as he leaves the field. He's been excellent.
Yeah, he's been outstanding, absolutely outstanding. Pivotal really in West Ham getting back into the game. And you can tell a lot of the reception he's getting as he's leaving the ground, leaving the pitch. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Do you know what? Alkmaar, Jim, the pressure's been on them after conceding the second goal. The pressure's been on them to maybe try and get at West Ham. And it's been more difficult for them, hasn't it? They haven't really been able to make Areola make a save, and that's what they'll be facing in the second leg. Although they'll be at home and their crowd will be absolutely with them. I also think David Moyes will enjoy that scenario. Right, come and attack us, and we'll look at doing exactly what you've done to us tonight. So the game, I think, as a manager now, is suited to David Moyes.
Well, in this second half, Alkmaar haven't had a single shot on target. They've had 3 attempts. The Hammers have had 11 in this second period, and over the game as a whole now, XG 3.1 West Ham and just 0.2 for the Dutch side. So good value for a 1-goal win. You can argue that a 3-goal win would have been a fairer reflection of what we've seen. We're in stoppage time, 3 added minutes. 2-1 the score. Again, turning it back for Alphonse Areola. Areola able to drive it forward. David Moyes will have the luxury, if he wants, with West Ham all but safe in the Premier League, to make wholesale changes for the match coming up at Brentford at the weekend, ahead of the second leg. Rest his big hitters to make sure that they're in a position to fire again, as they have tonight. Again, able to bring the ball forward. The centre half takes it down within 15 yards of the corner flag. He's still got it. Great strength from him, getting the better of Mihailovic. Not a bad cross either from that left-hand side. Ryan makes the save. Again, now has got to come all the way back in quickly. West Ham spotted the danger. Paquetá actually has dropped in at centre half alongside Zuma. They read the situation very well. Now again, gets back and is back in position. 2-1 to West Ham. Mihailovic on the right flank, chipped inside the penalty area, headed down, and again doesn't put his foot through it, just plays a little wall pass into the feet of Fornals to Rice to Souček. Again, once the ball is cleared past him, he's on his haunches for a moment, having a right old blow. Here's Rice back towards Kurt Zuma. Zuma to again. 50 seconds of stoppage time to go. Again with a long ball forward. It goes out towards Jared Bowen. Bowen controls it. Can they set the seal on it with a third late tonight? Gets to the byline, chips it back in. Oh, just too high for Danny Ings. Coming towards it. Didn't get anything on it at all. Fractions away. AZ whack it upfield. It'll go through towards Areola. A late winner for Basel. in Florence. Andy Zakiri, the former Brighton man, has scored that goal, and that will be a massive turn-up. Fiorentina 1, Basel 2. This one, 2-1 to West Ham, with 10 seconds to go. Nariona's got the ball inside his own penalty area, and he's just waiting for the striker Pavlidis to come and put any pressure on him. Now he'll pick it up. He's run the seconds off the clock, and that is that. Victory for West Ham United in the first leg of this semi-final of the Conference League, and they will be favourites going to the Northern Netherlands next week. Made hard work of it, having trailed in the first half. Controversial goal scored by Reinders to give AZ the lead. The West Ham second half performance was sublime. Benrahma from the spot after Bowen had been fouled by goalkeeper Ryan, and then Antonio from close range after again had one hooked off the line from a corner. The Hammers very good value for a 1-goal lead. The only frustration that they haven't got more of the job done tonight. But considering where they were at half-time, this has been a superb turnaround, a brilliant night of European football here at the London Stadium, and the result that nearly everybody here wanted, as West Ham beat AZ by 2-1. That European final is getting ever closer.
What a noise inside the London Stadium. For me, the night goes to these incredible fans who willed their team on right to the last. Gone the distant memories of protests here, of a toxic cloud that filled the East London sky and hung like a dark cloud over this football club. West Ham are united. The Irons battled their way from a goal back at half-time to come past a composed and competent AZ Alkmaar, who led by a goal, as I mentioned at the break. Wasn't really pretty in the second half, but with that spirit, fight, determination, bodies flying forward, the desire and will to win, they have done half the job. West Ham United, as it stands, are on their way to a European final. The wait for a first trophy in 43 years could soon be coming to an end. Lots of work still to do. We'll have the second leg live for you on Talksport 2 next Thursday. Remember, you can react to everything you've seen and heard tonight with us on the Sports Bar. To get your calls in, 03717 223344. Alvin Martin, West Ham legend. It's been a great night here, but what was key to that second half turnaround for the Hammers?
Well, the character that you need to be able to put a good side under pressure, desire to go and put your head in where it hurts, you know, all of the things that you want. Look, this club has always had a reputation for playing football. When I was captain here many moons ago, I used to say to any new player that come in, yeah, it's got a reputation for playing football, but more than anything, they want to see endeavour, they want to see hard work, they want to see you want to give everything to play for the club, and I think they showed that. In a very difficult game, you've got to give credit to the opposition. I think their character saw them through here, and I think they could have maybe had more goals really in the end.
Disappointed?
Well, no, not really. I think, I would be more than happy when they were 1-0 up and looking like they were in control of the game, and even maybe looking like they were going to add another goal. The game turned. Some of it wasn't pretty, but I think it's just all about reacting. I do worry now and again when a crowd is so on side and they're willing you to push forward. That at this level and at this stage of a competition, you can overdo it and you can pay the price, and maybe you can see the second, and then you think the game's really going away from you. So it was a dangerous game in that respect. But look, 2-1 scoreline, and I said to Jim, I think that David Moyes is clever enough to take a team out there and finish the job.
In the end, I think the experience told, the Premier League experience, maybe the big match experience with their run to the Europa League semi-final last season made a difference in that second half in particular. You felt like AZ maybe run out of steam a little bit and maybe run out of ideas at times too, but going back to Holland, even though West Ham have something to hold on to now in terms of their lead, will still be a tricky game. They showed us enough tonight for us to know it won't be a walkover.
Absolutely right. But look, at the end of the whistle, I was watching some of the players, the West Ham players, where you can see were lifted. They were tired, but they were lifted. The euphoria. Alkmaar, you could see they were low, and this would have dented certainly a mental side of their play. So we'll see if that, if that resonates in the second game. But look, I think if you said 2-1 before the game to David Moyes, I think he would have bitten your hand off.
Rest a lot of players for the weekend, keep them fresh for Thursday?
Well, I'm not sure you want to rest a lot. But look, I think that one of the things that has improved at this club is the depth in the squad. And you can see the bench tonight. There are options there for David Moyes.
We're going to see if West Ham United do make a raft of changes at the weekend, but most important, I think, for these fans right now is making it through to that final in the Europa Conference League. They've got 1 foot there. They've won their home leg here tonight. Just to let you know, Juventus have just scored a 97th minute equaliser against Sevilla in the Europa League. It finished Roma 1, Leverkusen 0. Also in this Conference League semi-final, Fiorentina 1, Basel 2, a surprise for some, and it finished over on Talksport 2 in the Super League at Wakefield 6, Hull FC 26. Before you go, Alvin, let's pick our man of the match here at the London Stadium with Till by NatWest.
Man of the match on Talksport with Till by NatWest, the card payment provider from NatWest. Till by NatWest. Tomorrow begins today. Fees, T's and eligibility criteria apply.
Who have you gone for?
Well, I'm going to go for Ben Rama. I thought he was fantastic throughout the night. Some of his close control and his technical ability was brilliant. He had the bottle to stick the penalty away as well. So outstanding game for him tonight. And I thought Bowen come into it really late. And as the game grew, he proved that he could be a real problem for them in the return leg as well.
Yeah, applauded off the pitch here tonight for his efforts. Saeed Benrahma is our man of the match with Till, the card payment provider from NatWest.
Man of the match.